Hey everyone, welcome to That Pedal Show. Viewers, comments and questions live. Dan here.
Nick here, hello. Welcome everybody. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday.
I assume it's Monday.
Yeah, I don't know any Happy Monday songs, but I'm going to assume they go.
Might it be Tuesday in Australia?
It'd be very early Tuesday morning.
Yeah, there we are, you see.
There you go.
We invented time, so we did.
What time is it? What the time is now?
Yeah, exactly. Welcome everyone. Happy Tuesday or Monday. Predominantly Monday, I would say. Should we go around that again? And welcome to Viewers, Comments, Questions. Thank you for being here. BV, thank you so much for moderating.
Yes, mate.
And keeping me abreast of all the shenanigans going on in the Super Chats, which I have turned off because we have lots.
Yes.
So, Zoot Allures is on. Richard Pribenow is on.
Lovely.
BV is on, obviously. Diaper Baghdad is on, which is quite funny. James,
It's a mess when he's not on.
James
when he's off,
Daglish.
it's just awful.
Scotty LK, Sammy Dave J, Matt Swanton is on. Digger68, James Blessed, Music Therapy Laz, lots of lovely
Oh,
friends.
beautiful.
Zoot Allure, did I mention you? Serial Frost is on, obviously. Hugh Buchan is on. Hey Hugh, with
Hey,
your
Hugh.
new Morgan. Congrats, buddy. And let me see. Simon VRDJ. Simon, how are you, man? And Kristen Abbott, who also came to an experience day. Hopefully you can see us. Looks like you can. Greasy Kitchen says it's still predominantly Monday here in a dark, miserable Glasgow. Yeah, it's dark and miserable here as well.
It's been, it's not been joyous.
No,
I've not been feeling the joy of late.
I've enjoyed a lot of rain today.
It's been, yeah, it rained the entire trip here.
2 very rainy dog walks. For those of you who were with us last week, among the chaos, thank you for sticking with it. It all went a bit wrong on Monday and Tuesday, but we're back to normal now. On this 1st of December, Daniel.
Yes. Oh, man.
Crazy, isn't it?
It's crazy.
We invented that too.
The 1st of December.
Well, the Romans did.
Right.
Sort of in the form we know it now, I think, isn't it?
Okay. I think they do the whole what's the thing where
They had Julius, didn't they? July.
right.
Didn't they add that because for Julius?
Okay.
They didn't, as you will notice, add Miccius or Danius.
No. It's
That would
very
be a-
lack of foresight, I think.
I think that would be a better option than a birthday. Like a whole month
Oh, month.
dedicated to you.
Be amazing.
January, February, Mickey, March, April, May, Danvember,
I'm in.
June,
I'm
July.
in. I'm in.
Yeah. I like it.
Yeah.
No?
Yeah, no, I'm in.
James Blessed is on. Hey James, how are you, buddy? And John 777 and Todd Roy.
And Moon and Fat Sea Turtle and CompuCorder 64.
Oh,
And Remco from Friday.
Hope you guys had a safe journey back.
Yeah.
Remco joined us for an experience day on Saturday it was, because we more chaos with his friend Marco from the Netherlands, and we had a lovely day too.
Yeah, it was very
It
lovely.
was really good. Hope your journey back was hassle-free, guys.
Yes, mate.
Jim B2577 says, have I missed a super chat? You have, in Akron, Ohio. You have. Jim wants to know if we'd go into more depth about approaches to recording and gigging. I don't gig anymore, just recording these days. Yeah, let's reflect on that very briefly then before we get into the super chats. I think Dan and I have both come to sort of understand that they're two completely separate things.
Very, very different things.
I mean, obviously you might end up using the same guitars because the guitars are familiar, but when it comes to amps and effects and stuff, it's a very different approach, isn't it?
Yeah. I think I was reading some stuff about Zeppelin on the weekend and how long it took Sir Jimmy of Page to get the solo down for Stairway Shenanigans. And I think one of the things why the guitars and everything on those tracks are so good is he was a session pro. He knew that if it wasn't happening, he knew what to try and stuff. So apparently he hadn't used the telly that Jeff Beck had given him after he got the gig in the Yardbirds, the Dragon telly. He hadn't used it for a couple of years by the time he got to record Stairway.
Well,
and he was like, and he just couldn't, the solo just wasn't working on the Les Paul. And I was like, hang on, let me just pull this old thing out. And like within a couple of takes, it was done.
it was there.
But he knew, because he was so, and the little super amps and all that sort of stuff, he had worked out what recorded really well.
Yeah.
You know, I think, but it's a different thing. Because of course, then he goes live and it's Oranges and Les Pauls and Marshalls and stuff. And yeah.
Also think, certainly the way Dan and I do it, you know, we sit in this room week in, week out, and even at gigs for that matter, you want this huge sound, this big, fat, massive, like, room-filling sound full of...
Testicle dropping.
Yeah, wet, dry, and loads of bottom end and all that stuff. And in many cases, that's the last thing you want on a recording if it's a dense mix. So it's how long is a bit of string, really, is the question. And, yeah. I stumbled across a record last night, which I hadn't heard before. It was Tom Bukovac's Plexi Soul record.
I had listened to it yesterday.
And I think maybe because it had been available on Bandcamp or something before that,
right.
or I don't know where it was available, but I'd never seen it on Apple Music before, which is where I listen to my music. And it turned up and I thought, oh, Bukovac's got a new record, brilliant. And put it on, I was like, man, the guitar sounds.
Yeah.
For the same reason, right? He's a pro, he does it day in, day out, and the sounds are just spectacular.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Maybe there's an interview with him somewhere where he explains what he used, but
that's, again, why producers and good engineers are so invaluable when bands go in to record. It's like you need to, you know, you have your sounds and all that sort of stuff, but what we need to do is try and get that on the record, and we're going to go about it in creative ways that you're going to have loads of fun. But have you seen that documentary on Fleetwood Mac and the making of
Rumours?
The making of Rumours.
I haven't seen it. I've heard a lot about it.
Well,
I feel like I've seen it.
What's really interesting is then going from Rumours into the following album.
Yeah,
so Rumours,
was it?
yes, and where they had that
Something like that.
was it that thing and they got the marching band and all that shit. So it was fascinating because they're such creative people, right?
Yeah.
And they had all the money in the world. And they spent months just messing around and trying stuff. And of course, that was in the days when everything hadn't been tried. You know, I'm not saying everything has now, but if so much of what they were doing...
Much less had been tried.
Much less had been tried.
Yeah.
And they were finding stuff in the studio that worked, that would never work live, and stuff that didn't. But they had the freedom to do that in the most magical space in the world.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I love that.
That doesn't really happen. Tusk was after Rumours,
Tusk, that's
apparently. Robert Payne. Thank you, Robert Payne. Good. All right. Let's get to some super chats then. First in this week with the super chats is Andrew R. Hello, Andrew R. He says, hello, D&M. Hello, Andrew.
Oh, Andrew.
The 1, 2, 3, 4 pedal board challenge. 1 foot switch per pedal. Pedals must have a price under £200. No more than 3 knobs, faders per pedal, and 4 pedals. So it's 1 foot switch, £200, 3 knobs, 4 pedals.
Oh, that's interesting.
There's a game show there.
Yeah.
That's number one.
That's number one.
And it's down the hole. We were watching some game shows last week. It was like, what the hell is going on? I have no idea what's happening.
Yeah.
And then they'd say, And that's Ladder Pant. You're like, what? Anyway, so we'll play your game show, Andrew. Amp appropriate for a pub and bar gig. 100 watt Marshall then.
Yeah.
If pedal not in production, current used pricing. I like this. I'm going to screen grab it.
Okay.
Thank you to everyone. So on Friday we had the one brand challenge, and I think we said during the video, you know, if you've got ideas for challenges, we had so many good ideas for challenges coming.
Really fabulous. So thank you, everyone.
And it seems that you guys really enjoy the challenges because it puts us in a different kind of headspace. And requires different. When I watched it back, I was like, "Oh bloody hell! We so should have taken that guitar off you and given you another guitar."
Yeah.
At the end, but I think our brains were so fried at the end of it, we managed not to do that. But this one guy said, "I had to turn off that PRS. Is horrific."
But it does. You make it sound amazing, and it does sound good. I just really struggle to play PRS guitars, in general. The Telly style one,
The
NF, I think is an incredible guitar.
somewhat more planky.
Yeah, but I can work my way around that.
Yeah.
But the traditional PRS, which is the hybrid Fender Gibson thing.
Basically a Gibson in it.
With
a wobble stick.
Right, Gibson with a wobble stick.
Yeah.
It's not like any Gibsons that I've ever owned.
Yeah, I mean they're all different, obviously, but I think your experience of Gibsons is predominantly vintage-y minded stuff. If you played some more modern studios standards,
that's in that.
I think you might.
Okay, you see
you'd get
the
closer.
Lake. Right. Okay.
Yeah,
Fine.
Yeah. Anyway, blimey, Chris Bayliss. Hey, Chris, I've screen grabbed that, Andrew. So we will.
Thanks,
do it.
Andrew. That's great.
Chris Bayliss. Hi D&M, the Tone King Imperial preamp manual says headphone only use. No amp. Will pick up noise as the supplied power supply is not earthed. Can you buy an earthed power supply for pedals? That makes no sense.
So the transformer that you plug into the wall, I mean, what you can do is you can earth the pedal. You don't have to earth the power supply. That's not, you don't want to do that. But you can absolutely connect a bit of, well, if you have a patch lead from that to a pedal that is that is connected through to the input of an amplifier, that will earth the pedal. We've played the Tone King Imperial pedal in here, and it's fantastic.
So hang on. So what's happening is then, if you go headphone only, if you just plug your headphones in, there's no earth. If you plug it into an amp, that's your earth connection.
Yes.
Right. So there's no danger in that, right?
No.
But because of the floating earth, as it were,
right,
you get noise. So question one, do you get noise? And if you don't get noise, don't worry. After that,
just
use any other
just
power
use
supply.
the headphone out, and then just plug the output into the amp. Don't turn the amp on. That will still be your earth.
What is the power supply? 9
it's
volt.
It's 12 volt 1 amp.
Okay, so you can get a center negative 12 volt 1 amp supply. You can get one of those from anywhere, which will be earthed, right?
No, because it's taking the 240 in, transforms it to 12 volts DC, but there's a transformer there, so you don't get, well, you shouldn't have an earth connection. That's the whole idea with those supplies.
Which is why they're isolated.
Yeah.
So what's the solution?
If you want to play with headphones and you shouldn't get noise. That's weird. It's like saying you've got your Walkman, you've got the Walkman with headphones plugged in, you're not earthed, but you're getting noise. It's not a thing. But if you are, just plugging into the output, into the amplifier, and then you've got continuity to earth there, and that will solve any issues.
I think that's what you should have called your EP.
Continuity to earth.
Yeah.
Well, the first Tin Spirits album was called Wired to Earth.
Ah.
So Continuity to Earth might be a little
follow-up.
Is a follow-up to Wired to Earth. There you go.
Dave Hart's just quoted the manual in the the chat.
Okay,
If that helps.
let's see. Oh, I'm not there.
Yeah,
You must be faster than me.
That hasn't come through.
Oh, hang on, Dave Hart. Manual says, when using with just guitar and headphones, using a non-earthed power supply will be no connection to ground, and there will be hum. A non-earthed power supply. So, if you don't... Yeah, okay. So just... I guess find a... Okay, I'm going to have a look for a 12-volt earthed power supply.
He's followed up with another comment from the manual.
For noise-free experience, please connect the send, return, balanced out or USB to an earthed device,
There you go.
such as an amp, audio. That's exactly what Dan said.
Yep.
So plug it into something. Yeah, okay. Which, of course, is a pain if you're travelling, for example. But if it will work via the USB, there's usually a USB somewhere in any indoor environment. So try that, maybe.
So thanks to Dave.
Thanks, Dave. Thanks, Dave Hart. Redbird Jazz, I just want to say I have screen grabbed your idea for a show as well, where we demonstrate common guitar tone buzzwords. Dark, warm, bright, woolly. Bonus points for where you don't agree. That is a fantastic idea for a show.
I love that.
Let's get 20 buzzwords
Yep.
that we use all the time
Okay.
and demonstrate them.
Suggest your buzzwords now.
Yeah.
Give us your suggested buzzwords that you've always wanted to know what the hell people are talking about. So yeah, throw them in. Let's have a look.
Awesome. Sean Eric Brooks says, is non-earthed Hobbit speak for ungrounded? Yes.
Said Hobbit speak. Yeah, it's isolated.
Was Tolkien British?
Very British.
Was he?
He was a professor of English at Oxford University.
Right.
Yeah. There's an amazing film about Tolkien, J.R. Tolkien, and it talks about his experiences in the war and how that shaped the sort of the battle scenes through the books and stuff. So Lord of the Rings was the first series of books that I read, because I wasn't a great reader because I had dyslexia. It was undiagnosed, but I hated reading. I really struggled with it. And I now understand what I've got. But I read the entire, all the Lord of the Rings series
wow.
because I just...
So you weren't
I loved it
dyslexic,
so
you were
much.
just lazy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I was just lazy. I was just lazy. The cane. Oh, here we go. Transients,
I know.
chewy, glassy, creamy mids, pedal platform, mid honk.
I'm screen grabbing as they come through.
These
so
are
thank you.
fantastic.
Thank you.
Mid forward, chime, brown. This is great. All right, thanks everyone. Wobbly, brittle, cone cry, sag.
Broken Oars podcast says British, but family came from Germany in the 18th century. Yeah, that's because of the surname. I was assuming he wasn't British, but there we are. We're all immigrants sometime.
Woody. Thump.
Yes. Okay. Good. All right. There you go. I've screen grabbed a load of them. Let us gallop to some more super chats, I think.
Okay, lovely.
Daniel Thornton. Hi, Daniel.
Hi, Daniel.
Daniel says, hello to all the lovely TPS friends and family. Hello.
Hello.
I pair a Princeton 65 reissue with a 12-inch speaker with an AC15. I'm thinking about changing the AC15 to an AC10. Pros and cons, and what kind of AC10?
Okay. I think the Princeton and the AC15 is such a glorious combination. Right.
What? Yeah. My first question is why?
Yeah.
Is it because it's smaller?
So if you've got a Princeton with a 12-inch and an AC15, I mean, I bet that sounds amazing. The why, are you experiencing a strange coupling in the bottom end? Which you shouldn't, because they're so tonally, they're really not similar. But an AC10, so I've got, if you have a look at the video of my last rig, and I've got my old AC10 twin, And it's an astonishing amplifier up to a certain volume point and nothing beyond that. But up to that volume point, it is truly magnificent. But what I realized with the first gig that I did with it, you know, when Doug starts really kicking in, I just didn't have anywhere to go with it. It was really beautiful, but as soon as the solos and stuff kicked in, it was a little bit hairy.
I was always surprised by how loud your AC10 was. Like, it seemed louder than our AC15.
Yeah, and I think whether that's part of the old iron or whatever, it's
Any old
old iron. It's quite an efficient thing. It's got the, I think it's the warehouse speakers I've put in that.
C54 JPY.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they're amazing.
Yeah.
And they might just be a little bit more efficient and
Yeah.
a bit louder.
Yeah.
Uh,
With an inverted rectifuga.
An inverted rectifuga,
Yeah.
yes. Yes. Tagged onto the back of the flux capacitor. So just be aware, the AC10s can sound magic.
Yeah.
After a certain volume level, you're going to struggle. AC15s sound great quiet. I don't know what you're after, but I don't know if it's going to give you what you want.
I don't know that it's... I'm going to say that I don't think it's a significant enough change unless it's specifically the weight saving, space saving that you want, you know. It's like saying, should you have Kronenberg or Stella? You know, it's all
You have both.
over
You always have both.
processed lager that gets you a bit fighty, you know.
Yeah.
The result is predominantly the same.
What I did, and don't let this influence you in any way, but I went from the AC10 and the Princeton. It's now the Princeton and the Matchless. And the Matchless gives me, Matchless has got a great master volume, and just to knock it back a little bit, but it gives me the headroom, but still gives me the chime that I really like. I didn't go for the AC30 because the AC30 isn't in the other direction. It doesn't sound good quiet. It has to be sat at a certain level. If you're at that level, it's magic. But I need the ability to balance it properly in the band. And the Princeton sounds magic quiet, but you can also give it some love. And especially the Princeton that we've got has got the EV 10-inch speaker in it. And so it's quite consistent up to that certain level.
It's crazy loud.
It's just unreal.
Yeah.
And I can pair that with the Matchless and turn it up, and it just sounds absolutely glorious. But that's a rig that I can also turn down. So, yeah, depending on what you want.
And then there's the AC10 Twin, of course. So you might be talking about that.
Yeah.
Which is going to sound bigger, considerably so, than a single 10-inch speaker.
Yeah. I would be going for if you're going from an AC15 and the cabinet's bigger, if you go for the AC10, it is going to be a smaller sound.
Yeah, much more focused. But that might be what you want to sort of punch through what's going on in the Princeton, because the Princeton has enormous amount of bass for a small amp.
It does.
So it might be that having even more mid-focus is just a good blend of the two things. Hard to say.
Yeah.
Hard to say.
Good luck, mate.
Ex-Nixel wants to know, Mick, did you see Robin Ford at Bath last Wednesday? What did you think? I was late to leave and the venue and was stood outside waiting for my mate, and Robin walked past with his guitar on his back. Oh, cool. I did go, yes, and I thought it was great, actually. Jake Loosemore, who you might know a little bit from this channel, but also being out there in the world, he was in the support act with Laura Evans, playing solo guitar, and she was singing, and he was great. And Robin came on, and I was struck by two things. One, how loud he was, gloriously, epically, hilariously loud. Because his little Walters were faced. I walked into the venue, saw his little Walters were faced off to the side of the stage, and I was like, I know what's going on here. And then what I was hearing was the slap of them off the side of the venue back to where I was stood.
Right.
So in a reflected way, but it was lovely and loud and present and beautiful. But that was the first thing to show. What struck me more was, I hope Robin won't mind it being said that, you know, he's not a young man anymore, right? And yet his performance, his vigour playing, his note choice, everything about the way he played, the commitment to the music, the interaction.
Sorry, that was the door handle.
Yes. Yes, it was the handle.
Was the interaction with the rest of the band and everything was just brilliant.
Yeah.
I mean, he played as well as I've ever heard him.
Yeah.
I know it probably seems a bit wrong to think that he wouldn't, but that really struck me. It was vital.
Yes.
And
His commitment.
yeah,
Is astonishing.
Ian Thomas on drums.
Oh man.
I mean, Johnny Henderson, right? If you've ever seen Johnny Henderson play the organ, it's nuts.
Yep.
It's like totally nuts. So we'll take Johnny as read. Ian Thomas on drums. Oh my God, what a musical player.
I think he's probably. I haven't ever seen Steve Gadd live, and that to this, I really want to.
Yeah.
I hope to see him live, but Ianto Thomas is the best. Like at that stuff, I've never seen a drummer be so musical and beautiful, and I just wanted to hear him play more and more. It's just so wonderful.
Yeah.
He's such a lovely guy. He was in Seal's first band when because I was having a chat to him. He goes, "Oh yeah, I was in Seal's band. Tell him I said hi." But yeah, he's just so wonderful, so wonderful. I told you I had a jam with him and Robin and
You did.
the keyboard player. It wasn't Johnny. It was another guy who was amazing. Who brought in a whole B3. Like he found a way to disassemble the bass keys and stuff, and assembled it all in rehearsal with the Leslie and everything. And Ron was like, "Did you bring your guitar?" And I'm like, "No, I didn't bring my guitar. Are you insane?" And then Robin disappeared and came back with another guitar. He goes, "Yeah, just sit in with us, man." And I'm just there going, "This is surreal." And Robin goes, "I couldn't really hear you." I said, I was fantastic.
Yeah, I was fantastic.
I was
mate.
amazing.
It was all good. Gareth Johnson is on. Hey, Gareth, how are you, buddy?
Hey, buddy.
He says, "Good evening, chaps. Hope all is well. Currently restoring even more old Marshalls. Many revelations." Gareth's picked up a couple of really cool... Gareth's got lots of Marshalls, but he's picked up a couple of really cool ones just recently.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Good on you, mate. It sounded pretty killer in the... was it a 2104? Have I got that right? 100 watt JCM? Or a late 70s 100 watt? Can't remember. Anyway, it sounded like flipping AC/DC. Just sounded like AC/DC.
Well, yeah. You play like Gareth, you put it through all the good stuff, it's going to sound unreal. Mick and I went to Metropolis and we were doing something with Boss years ago. And Gareth has, I don't know if Gareth still has a studio there, but it was a studio sort of in Metropolis Studios. And he came up and says, "Oh, guys, I'd love to show you my space." And we went in and everything that we'd only ever seen as a plug-in before, Gareth has the real thing. And tape machines and everything. And it's like, and Gareth played us some stuff. What were the monitors that he was using? They were just
PMCs.
outrageous.
But not any old PMCs, like the really big ones.
Yeah, it was just unreal. And sonically, it was like, oh, this is what it can be like. It's
Gareth
really
is saying
magic.
it's a 2104, which is a 78 JMP 50 watt. Just such a great sound.
Is it a non-master volume one?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Yeah, JMP would be non-master volume, wouldn't it?
I know there are some JMPs that had a master volume, but I had a 50 watt non-master volume, and it's something I very much regret moving on. So dumb.
Yeah, I don't know. I know that Marshall made master volume and non-master volume amps concurrently for a minute. Anyway, let us move right along.
Gareth says bigger PMCs now. So fun. Unreal.
Yeah, Chris, you come in again, and I think we answered the question. Right, I searched and found nothing, only a story of a similar scenario where someone connected the ground on the FX loop send to the earth pin of a power socket. Don't do that.
Please don't do that.
Don't do anything like that.
You don't need to.
Just plug the FX loop return or the output or whatever it says in the manual into something that is earthed, and that should solve your problem.
Yeah.
Morley Robertson. Hello, Morley.
Hi, Molly.
Hello, Leggins. Great challenge last week. Looking forward to more. Found an Egnator 20-watt head last week.
Yeah.
And thinking of buying it. Any experience with any of their amps or any advice? Thanks. Gents. Bruce Egnator, I think he worked for Fender, didn't he, back in the day?
Sounds right.
Probably. And then had a big push on his amps 20 years or so ago, maybe around that, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And amps like the Rebel and various others came out. And they had lots of super interesting features like switchable preamps and all kinds of different options on. Well, anyway, they sort of seem to me like, imagine if Mesa Boogie was sort of more vintage inspired and affordable.
Oh, that's cool.
And that's kind of what I thought Egnator had done with that brand. I was on Guitarist magazine at the time, and they certainly were reviewed very well and held in very high regard. So
yeah.
Very
cool.
Buy it, Morley, if it's a good price, which it probably is. SWiz871,
Hey,
SWiz871, Swizz871. Legends, in the past month, I got to see Oasis, Pixies, Metallica, Stephen Wilson, Casey Musgraves, AC/DC, and Eric Gales. The best thing I can say is they've really motivated me to pick up the guitar after a bit of a lull.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's a pretty spectacular collection of artists there.
It is. It really is.
At the risk of an indelicate comment, how many AC/DCs are left?
That's a really great
Angus
question.
and Brian, is it?
Yeah. And is Phil still on drums?
I want to say maybe Phil.
I need to know.
Anyway, I'm sure they still sound like AC/DC, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, you see...
Although that symbiotic thing with Angus and Malcolm is so much the sound of AC/DC,
completely.
isn't it?
Completely.
Yeah. Oh, man. Nice one, Swizz. Hope you're enjoying your playing. Simon VRDJ says, hi, DNM. Please
Hey,
take a
mate.
question from the chat. Thank you, Simon. That's very generous of you. And
You're
so
right.
let's
It's
see.
only Angus and Brian.
Yeah.
And obviously Brian isn't the original guy, but he's the closest. He may as well be.
For a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't dust for vomit.
Okay, from Brian Carpenter then. Daniel, the Empress Reverb has an output transformer on output 2 to get rid of hum when running in stereo. Is it good enough as is, or will I ultimately need something like a humdinger?
No. If that's your last one, then you'll be fine. So you won't be able to flip phase with it, but it will isolate. Unless there's something deep in the manual that lets you flip the phase, I'm not sure. But it will, if you have that the last in the chain, it will get rid of any earth loops.
Gareth says yes, master volume. 2104 is the 2204 in combo form. Ah, yes, because
Great.
2203 becomes the JCM 800.
Okay.
2204 is the 50 watt. That's where I always get confused when the transition between JMP to JCM.
Right.
Obviously, it's very obvious in the visuals, but I'm never quite sure which is which.
They haven't nailed it on, you see. They should call it loud maker, cranky loud maker, and, really nail it on.
Marcus Reeves says, I love ADHD. Oh, anything I say is good.
It's not hard. I was speaking to my friend Mark in Australia today. And every time I'm like, Mark!
It's not that hard, Mark. And Swizz871 again. Which Swizz? Thank you for your second question. He says, "What do What 2 Pete Cornish pedals do you think exemplify what he does best? For fun, pick another pedal builder and a pedal that best embodies their ethos. That's a nice question.
Yeah, okay, so I'm going to say the SS2 and the treble booster. The treble booster it's unlike any other treble booster I've ever heard. And it's not the one that I use on my board. I use the old Java boost. But hearing that goose the front end of an overdrive pedal or an amp that's working hard, there's a magic spot on the Pete Cornish that doesn't sound like any other treble booster. And I haven't opened it up to have a look at what's in there. I just want to leave it the magic box, right? But I think it's wonderful and unlike anything else. But also the SS2,
which is an overdrive, right?
Which is an overdrive. Yeah. And it's Gilmore's used it and a bunch of guys, and it's just but the other one, actually, I'm going to get rid of the SS2 because it's magic. Works best into high watts, by the way. However, no, I'm going to say the what's the delay that he...
Whatever the delay is.
Whatever the delay that he does.
The one that costs $1,000
and 10-year waiting list and all that stuff. So it's basically built off an old DD3 that he takes apart and then adds modulation and a bunch of stuff and EQ and cleans it up, and it's just the most... TES. Is it the...
That's a tape echo simulator. I don't know if there's a...
I think it's the TES.
Yeah, well, that's what it says.
Yeah. And it's incredible.
Yeah, the aforementioned Jake Loosemore had one, and he brought it in and we played with it, and it did sound spectacular.
Yeah, it's incredible.
I don't know enough of Cornish stuff. I keep meaning to maybe try and acquire a thing or two, but my goodness me, I'm looking at there's 2 used ones on Reverb, and the cheapest one is $3,000.
It's fantastic.
I know.
I would love to go down to Pete's place. Pete, if you're listening. And I know that, he must be asked all the time about his history, and because he was a hero of mine, when I first played one of his rigs back in Australia and found out all about him, and Pete Cornish, an absolute genius. But I would just love to do a show with him on his pedals, on his approach to designing pedals, because when you see the rigs that he's built and how he's taken those pedals apart, what is it that he has identified as being subpar, and what has he identified as being amazing that he keeps? Interesting thing about Pete Cornish and Roger Mayer, they both were military. They both learnt electronics in the military.
Right.
I think they might have both been in the Navy. But they have that approach where, well, this is the right way to do it, and they've, it's brilliant. Brilliant. And I've talked to Pete on the phone, and he's just so lovely and accommodating. And that would be a big thing for me.
That would be a big deal, because he's elusive, not very public.
Exactly.
And for fun, then, pick another pedal builder and a pedal that best embodies their ethos.
I'm going to say
Jam.
Yeah.
And it's the Pink Flow. Any Jam pedal and Jam, I would say. They remain a true inspiration to all of us. And that's how to do multi-effects, in my humble opinion.
I'm going to say ZVEX.
Yes.
And the fuzz probe. So this is a fuzz that has a built-in theremin, basically, on here. And it sends this pitch thing through the fuzz. The closer you just wave your foot around it. It's just unreal. Unholy noise. Yeah. Zachary
Bless Zevex.
Vex. Yeah, it's unreal.
I mean, you know, Zevex, Analog Man, and a small handful of others kind of begat all of this, didn't they?
Yeah. That's
In a
right.
way. In a way. I'm not saying they're the only ones, but incredibly significant.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, Swizz. Carson Green, happy Thanksgiving to all the TPSers who celebrated. Oh, yeah, of course, that was Prime Day, wasn't it?
Black Friday.
Black Friday. Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazon's remaking of Thanksgiving. Did you buy anything?
No, I got some stuff for Christmas.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
I bought a tyre inflator.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. Which was on a deal.
Right.
Yeah.
To do a deal.
Doing a deal.
Do a
Terry
deal.
Tibbs. £50, £100, £80. Come on, Terry Tibbs, doing a deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving.
Indeed. He says, I don't use chorus much, says Carson Green. I get a passable chorus or vibrato from my Halo delay.
Yeah.
What am I missing that a dedicated pedal would offer?
So the great thing about chorus is it's not a delay. I mean, it is. It's created with a delay line, but it doesn't have all the echoes and stuff behind it. So you can have it to be. It's not as thick as creating your chorus with all the. You know, the way it's really interesting when you watch the Rick Beato video with David Gilmour, and Rick was saying, do you ever use a chorus? He goes, no, I just have the delay. And the delay is quite straight. But when I go, that movement, when you hear that against the delays, that's what's creating the modulation. But with a chorus, you get the modulation, but you can have gaps in your playing, and it's you don't have all the echoes going over the top of it. I think it's a must-have. Certainly for me, it's unreal.
I forgot what the question was. Oh yeah, chorus. There we are. So it's funny, in the £250 pedalboard build, to have modulation, I just went with a chorus because it's like I've got to have chorus, right?
Yeah.
Got to have modulation because what you can do with chorus is you can have anything from a thickening, like very, very slow speed and just really super low depth, and you just get this slight thickening thing, approaching a doubling sound, but not quite that. And then straight into your classic choruses. So if you like anything that's got classic chorus, then that means anything 80s. It means Purple Rain. It means those sort of wobbly modulation sounds that we know from music past. You can access that. And then if you turn the speed and the depth up full, you get like a semi-passable faux rotary. So it's quite versatile in that respect. But interesting that you asked the question, because I've got the chorus pedal on my board going, yeah, I don't really like chorus very much. I like it for everything that it can do, but as straight chorus, you do get sick of it pretty quick.
Yeah.
And I agree with Dan that where, for me, the most magic place for chorus is in the natural modulation of delay repeats. That is just, that's the sound.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
But then what other single modulation do you choose? If you choose a vibe, you just end up sounding like Jimi Hendrix the whole time.
Yeah.
Flanger, well, is just a short chorus, really, and then it sounds even more specifically time period. Rotary speaker, maybe, but you can't. Anyway, we've been there. So it is kind of chorus. If you've got one modulation, it's chorus, isn't it?
Yeah. And
Flanger for you, maybe.
yeah. But it's, flanger is a chorus.
Actually, Electro Harmonix phaser is the one to get because it's thick and soupy.
Oh yeah, like the small stone.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's the.
So that's
yeah,
an
yeah.
option.
Yeah, that's
Well,
great.
That was a tangent. Good luck, Carson.
Yes,
Johnny
mate.
T. Hey, Johnny,
Johnny
how are you?
T.
He says, Mick sells the matchless when Dan is at NAM. Discuss. I would never sell it. I like it too much to sell it.
Oh, it's such a great amp. That 1x12 has just been worked into a point now where it's just magic.
It's really great. Usually, at some point during the experience day, someone says, "Can I hear the matchless?" I'm like, "Yeah, you can." Brang! Oh my god! How is it only 30 watts?
Yeah.
Et
Oh,
cetera.
it's in, yeah.
Rhino Jam. Hey guys, I bought a TWA source code. I was very doubtful I needed another TS, yet it must be said it's the best one I've ever heard. So I have to ask, what are even order harmonics and how are they changing the standard sound of a TS?
Oh, interesting. Okay, so even an odd order harmonics, everything in that makes a sound, makes a vibration, has a harmonic in it. If it didn't have a harmonic, it would just be a straight sine wave, right? But so if you listen to an E, the first harmonic is going to be the fifth, the next one's going to be an octave again, the next one's going to be
Six?
It's a fourth, and then another octave, and so forth, so on. The odd order harmonics, the 1, 3, 5, are the ones that give you the
It was 6.
my bar. That's 6.
Yeah. It wasn't. Maybe I misheard it.
That's a major third from there, and then
Now you're playing Jaco Pastorius.
now play.
Oh, good. He's woken up.
So, yes. So, if you look at the harmonic series, if you look at the odd order harmonics, they're the ones that don't have the tonic and the fifth in. And might do much later up the thing, but anyway, they're the ones that give you loads of color.
So it's not odd numbers.
It's the odd numbers in the harmonic series, 1, 3, 5, 7 as you go up.
Right.
So the first harmonic is if I cut the note in half.
Yeah.
Right.
I'd never realised it was because, even and odd. Who knew in music it would be relating to numbers?
Yeah. And then cut it in half again, then cut it in half again, and cut it in half again, and cut it in half again, and so every time you hit something, hit a bit of wood or whatever, you'll have those harmonics in varying degrees of loudness. And the odd order of the harmonics have all these, your color tones, whatever, and the evens have all the octaves and the fifths and the things that make sense. Now, depending on the sort of distortion it is, some have more odd order harmonics, some have more even order harmonics.
And it's said that the odd order harmonics sound less musical because they create dissonance.
There's dissonance in the... Yeah, but I don't know if I mean, I'm not going to argue with it, but...
Hello, Rosie. What are you doing? Go and see
Hey,
Dan,
baby.
man. Go and see Dan. Go and see Dan.
Yeah, but it's really interesting. You look at the harmonic series and it'll give you a good explanation of how all that works.
Has it got anything to do with symmetrical and asymmetrical
Clipping. Elements of it.
Like, does asymmetrical clipping create more
ass.
odd order harmonics? Maybe someone can explain that in the thing. I've never understood this stuff.
Yeah, if you've got clipping that's happening in identical sides of the waveform, and then it will be certain phasing of frequencies cancelling each other out, and then asymmetrical. So basically, it should be more even order harmonics with symmetrical clipping, more odd order harmonics with asymmetrical clipping.
That's what I'd heard.
Yeah,
So the more sort of nastier sounding distortions and stuff.
are more asymmetrical.
Yeah, but it's
You can-
too
but
generalised.
it's too
right?
generalized, and also you don't. I mean, you do get asymmetrical clipping by getting rid of the clipping on one side, but generally, you might have two diodes in series on one side and one diode on the other, creating clipping, and it's still asymmetrical. And so one will have. You can't say one is purely even
No.
order and one is purely odd order. It'll just have more or less of the other.
Did you ever learn this?
Portrait of Tracy? No.
Jack Open Stories. If you've never heard Portrait of Tracy, put it on now. It starts like this.
Like this.
It's a bit like what was the thing you had to all the guitar players learned when they first went to music college? That
Pulse
was-
teacher.
No, it was much
Panama.
more. Giant steps
Oh, okay.
and bass players,
Right.
but it was always as a bass player for a minute you'd have to know how to play Portrait of Tracy.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway, harmonics. Yeah. So thanks for the question,
Mikko Mixtorius, says Todd Roy. Very nice.
Mikko Mixtorius. Yeah.
So Airfire Ads is okay. I'm even more lost now. If you want to learn about that, just look at the harmonic series. There's some really great YouTube videos that do it all with diagrams and stuff. It's yeah.
Sean Eric Brooks says, "Look, no one wants to watch people play bass on YouTube. The algorithm has spoken." I would agree. Except Sean's bass lessons. That guy does
Oh man.
really well.
Yeah.
Really, really well.
Yeah.
Okay, so the voice of reason is on. Simon, how are you? Simon Jarrett. He says symmetrical clipping tends to produce more odd order and asymmetrical clipping produces more even order. However, with lots of gain, asymmetrical produces more intermodulation, distortion,
There you go.
which means it's garbled.
Right.
Okay, thank you, Simon. We knew you would know. There was another question that I wanted to just ask. Oh yeah, Matt Swanton says, what's that divided by 13 in the background? Well, funny you should ask, Matt, because there's not just one. There's one here, and there's one down there behind Dan. Divided by 13 was acquired by the people who own Two Rock just recently, and we know those guys very well, so they've sent us a couple of amps to try. I don't know, they're probably on their way through to somewhere or whatever, but very interesting. Definitely got their own thing going on. Really looking forward to hearing them. An amp brand that I was familiar with on Guitarist magazine many years ago, and then you see them on stages, don't you?
Yeah.
You see people using them.
Yeah. I first heard about them through Lyle Workman,
Yeah,
and then
Brian Ray maybe.
yes, but also from Jamiroquai,
Rob Harris.
Rob Harris was
Yeah.
using them for a bit. Yeah, they're very cool.
So we'll get a listen. It's always
Yeah.
nice to have some new toys for a minute.
Electricity Music talking about Portrait of Tracy says, but have you learnt Landscape of Kevin?
Hello,
good.
Steve.
Very good.
Good. Experimental Chris says divided by 13 is not an even order harmonic.
No.
No.
Very good.
Good. Okay, let us move along. Big Riffs and Rigs. Big Riffs and Rigs says, big shout out D&M.
Thanks, sir.
I got a new 5-piece band this year as lead guitar. TPS showed me the value of a clean live platform. Uses a 65 Princeton.
Mm-hmm.
Versatile, still super rock with pedals. Finally getting Strats and Tellys in a band context too. Rock on.
Well done, mate. That's
Nice one.
brilliant.
Hope you're enjoying it.
Yeah, brilliant.
Johnny T says, apart from a burst, should I say, any further vintage gear wants?
mainly amps for me. I'd love an old Princeton, just to have an old Princeton. And I might not even hear any difference between the two. But I saw a video the other day.
will.
Yeah, that's the problem. I saw a video the other day. I was like, oh, come
Oh,
on.
you will.
And I would love, I mean, you know, if I can't get a burst, I'll lower my expectations and get an original 52 Blackguard. There you go. We had a Ha guitar in here on the weekend. From Marco and
Remco. It was Remco's guitar.
Remco's guitar. They'd come over all the way from Holland, from the land of the Dutch people.
One from Germany and one
Germany.
from the Netherlands, yes.
Yes. And it was a Blackguard style, T-style guitar. And it was unreal. And I kept A-Bing it between Butters. And I love Butters. But boy, oh boy, this guitar had mojo up the yin-yang.
It was. I just held it and it was like, yes.
Yeah. Well, I was playing it, A-Bing it with Butters over the road. And I'm just like, it was such a crazy, great guitar. It's like, okay, one day, if I find a really good... I can say this hand on heart, one of the best guitars I've ever played was at Walt Grace Vintage in Miami, and it was an original 52 Blackguard. And the thing just... You know when they say, oh, it played itself? It just had to be near my hands, and it was just singing. It was unbelievable guitar. So, yeah, that would be fun. And it wasn't bright. It didn't have the... Lots of people think that the maple thing is really... It's not at all.
I think... Oh, God, I'm not even getting into it. Rosewood boards have the air frequencies to me. Maple has the sort of spanking upper mids.
Yeah. Yeah. But none of this... No, it was... Yeah, amazing
I
guitar.
don't think that's got anything to do with wood. I think that's to do with finish and hardware.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the old ping on the new Gibson hardware that you don't get with the old hardware.
Yeah, but if I found a Blackguard style guitar that sounded as good as that, I'd be very, very happy. It was unreal.
Well, I woke up on Sunday morning thinking about a Raptail 53 Gold Top. Because we'd been having a discussion at the Experience Day on Saturday, saying I used to say that the Blackguard Telly, as Dan is talking about, is the best guitar ever. I mean, it's just the best guitar ever. And now I've changed my mind, and I think it might be a 53 Raptail Gold Top.
Right.
I think that might be the best guitar ever.
Okay.
And I thought, I'll just have a Google, see how much they are. I can remember when nobody wanted them.
Yeah.
And they were semi-sensible money. And now they are insane money, even for ones that have got lots of problems. We freezed, apparently. Hopefully we'll be back up.
It says on air.
Yeah. Athos says the vintage guitar market is just daft now. And he says 90s gear should never afford almost vintage pricing. I agree. A vintage guitar, it is mad. It's like anything that is scarce and people want. The price makes no sense.
The mercy of the markets.
Somebody says the Tonewood conversation broke the stream. Yeah, the wind gusted, therefore our internet went off.
Yeah.
Barry Thomas. Hello, Barry.
Hey, Barry.
How are you, bud? He says, my VFE Klein bottle experiments are sounding really cool.
Great.
Any suggestions for 2-in, 2-out modulation pedals? I have a few stereo delays, but only the PN2 as a mod. I'm at work, so I'll hear the answer later. 2-in, 2-out. So I notice you say 2-in, 2-out rather than stereo. So it'd either have to be true stereo or dual mono.
The new Keeley washer, I think, could be a good shout. I mean, Red Wing is an obvious one. This, you know,
If you can find one.
if you can find one. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Oh man, I pulled it
Hampstead
out.
Red Wing.
The Hampstead Red Wing. One of the guys on Saturday was asking about flanger tones, and he had a nice flanger with him. And then he said, "Do you want to?"
So he was asking about flange, and you pulled it out. That's
pulled
what
it
you're
out.
saying.
Oh, that's right.
That's what you're saying.
That's right. Check out this one's custom. This one's got my name on it.
You pulled it out and you put it on the table.
I said, "Look at this beauty." Hang on. Let me plug it in.
Welcome to Addison's to TV.
Just let it warm up a sec.
Let me just get my spanner out.
But it was the really cool thing about the Red Wing is the dual delay lines, and it's being true stereo. It's a very, very cool modulation thing. But there's a bunch of them.
Are there stereo in and out?
This is, I think, one of the most underrated modulation pedals out there. Check this out. It's not that one.
It's not you. It's not you.
Right. It's this one. Okay.
Is that?
It's an old Diamond Halo chorus.
And is that stereo in and out then?
Yes.
Oh wow.
Yep.
What about the Analog Man By chorus? Is that stereo?
No. It's stereo in that you can send wet out of one side.
Yeah.
Um,
So after that, you might. I guess we wouldn't necessarily want to recommend it, but I guess most of the digital ones are probably stereo in and out, like the Boss MD 200. Is there a 500? And maybe also the Strymon Mobius.
Mobius.
They'll be stereo in and out, probably.
Anyway.
Good luck, Barry.
Good luck, Barry.
Hope that helps. Red Wing, obviously, first choice. Andrew Moore. Hello, Andrew. Dan,
Yes, mate.
how do you make the Gig Rig 14?
Yes.
What's it called again?
Gen X14.
The Gig Rig Gen X14 capable of powering a quad Cortex. What extra cables are needed?
Oh, you don't need any extra cables. All you need to do is parallel up the two 1 amp outputs. So set it to 12 volts. You take one of the cables. Okay, let me just describe this as clearly as I can. The Gen X14, at the end of it, has got two separate 1 amp outputs. But those 1 amp outputs have two sets of connectors so that you can connect more than one thing to it. But what it also enables you to do is connect the two 1 amps outputs up together in parallel. All you need to do that is connect your quad Cortex to one of the outputs, right? So you have two tabs. You put your cable for the quad Cortex in one side, and then the tabs next to that, we're going to join that 1 amp output to the 1 amp output next to it. And we're going to do that in parallel. So the black cable goes to the black tab, the white cable goes to the white tab. And there's a video showing you how to do this, but basically you end up with 12 volts, 2 amps, and powers a quad Cortex, and works great.
Takes 2 amps, does it?
Yeah.
Goodness gracious. Goodness gracious. I hope that explained it, Andrew. Michael Schneider. Hello, Michael.
Hello, Michael.
Michael says, for a Strat, what's the best overdrive to stack with a Tube Screamer style pedal? And for humbuckers, what is the best overdrive pair?
Have you ever stacked a Tube Screamer with a Tube Screamer?
Yes.
What's that like?
Very middly.
Okay. But is it good?
If you like a lot of middle.
Okay.
Yeah, can sound great. It depends on the amp, of course. I mean,
Yeah.
Stevie Ray did it, by all accounts. It's hard to look past the Marshall Blues Breaker as a sort of
Yeah.
standard suggestion, because that does end up getting, you know, some more modern boutique pedals from the likes of Jesse at, oh God, I'm turning into you, Dan.
Oh, heavens. Really handsome.
Yeah. Kingtone.
Oh, yes.
So the Duelist, for example, and there are others of this ilk, is a TS-inspired circuit on one side and a Blues Breaker on the other, and I think they stack beautifully well.
And it actually is Josh Smith's favourite overdrive pedal for his Strat, and only for his Strat.
Well, there we are then. So Josh Smith approved. So I think it's hard to look past that, but I would qualify that by saying it depends what you want the Tube Screamer to do. I've tended to use the Tube Screamer as something to go into something else.
Yeah.
Because of the mid focus, if you get something that's pretty open sounding after it, like a Klon, for example. So the other thing I would suggest is a Klon style. So something like a J Rocket Archer, or one of the many other myriad clones out there. And actually, this is one of the instances where I would recommend the Wampler Tumnus standard one, because it's got more bottom end.
Yeah.
One of the issues you get with a Strat, but any guitar, but if you put like a mid-humped overdrive into another mid-humped overdrive, you just end up with this really nasal kind of sound, which you might like less. So I tend to like a slightly more open-sounding overdrive after it. Now, we know the Klon's got a bit of a nose on it, but it's in a different place. But it also has really good extended high end, and it has fantastic headroom. So if you set the Klon up like as your, or any overdrive pedal, right? Set it up as your kind of mid-gainy or great all-round. If you stuff a Tube Screamer into the front of that, what you get is just this thickening effect. And it just thickens everything up, and it almost sends any guitar into that very mid-rich type of place where if you have enough volume, that's when you're going to start getting all that really nice feedback, because it's pushing all those frequencies that give you the lovely musical feedback, particularly with a Gibson guitar, because that guitar has more of it. So I would say Blues Breaker, I would say Klon. I mean, it's almost anything really.
Yeah.
But something open.
Yeah.
Something that is open.
Yeah. The Blues Driver is another really good one, the Boss Blues Driver. I love a good thickening.
Yeah, I've never loved the Blues Driver. I can't make it work.
For me, it's the old Keeley modded Blues Driver.
Yeah.
Which is it's a
And we know
different
it's
thing.
great because we know Andy makes it sound amazing.
Yeah.
So yeah, kind of anything, I think. What Dan and I both really love about stacking overdrive pedals is when you set them all with lower gain. And it's the accumulation of gain through, say, 2 or 3 things stacked, which just give you this harmonic complexity and richness, which can end up with quite a lot of gain by the time you get out the end of the third one.
Yeah.
Rather than a single overdrive pedal really dimed, which can just start sounding really small and squashy.
Mm-hmm.
So enabling headroom to exist through each of the pedals, and then once you get to the end, actually what you get is this harmonically very rich thing.
Yeah.
Humbuckers, it depends on the humbuckers.
Oh, try a hotcake as well. Tube Screamer into a hotcake.
Nice. Yeah.
On.
Yeah. Depends on the humbuckers. So obviously Tube Screamer has been used by a great many hard rock and metal guitar players to remove some of the bloat into the front of a really heavily overdriving amplifier, and Tube Screamer works fantastic for that. It's kind of like in the way that guitar players in the 60s would use a treble booster into a Marshall, like remove the bloat, really drive the upper mids to get that sound. It's the sort of modern equivalent of that, where you've got the amp really heavily overdriving, but in a more modern sense, like a 5150 or a rectifier, or or a modded Marshall. The Tube Screamer removes a lot of the bloat from the low end and really pushes those upper mid frequencies. in a sort of more modern version of it. So that's one way in which people use tube screamers. But equally, into a Bassman with a 335 is just a lovely, 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 lovely experience.
Yep.
And it does this, what I was describing earlier. It will give you that mid push in those key overdrive frequencies that make something like a 335 or a Les Paul just go into that beautiful musical feedback.
Yeah.
I actually, looking back on it now, I think one of the reasons I like tube screamers so much is because they enabled, out of things like Twins that I had, or Mark Series Boogies, which actually Mark Series Boogies were part of the way there already, but they enabled that sort of vocal sound that I was hearing from Dumbles, but I had no idea they were Dumbles.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
That articulation in the mid-range.
Yeah.
And the tube screamer with a certain... Anyway, so it's the same for humbuckers. And obviously the more modern you go with your humbuckers, and the more modern you want your sounds, you probably just want to reflect that in the pedal choices. But for the kind of music that I like, I would choose exactly the same pedals. There was another question in the thing, and apologies I didn't get your name, it was in the regular chat, saying, how do you use single coils and humbuckers with the same pedal board? Well, just use them.
Yeah.
And lean on different pedals to suit. Or if, like Dan and I, you choose your guitar so they're not massively different outputs. Actually, what ends up happening is if your rig is set up nicely and balanced, Telly sounds like a Telly, Strat sounds like a Strat, 335 sounds like a 335, and a Les Paul sounds like a Les Paul. Insert all other guitars here.
Yep. That's exactly right.
Yeah. Sorry, I got on one there.
They're nice.
Good luck, Michael. If you really are confused, Blues Breaker, Tube Screamer, have at it.
Sean Eric Brooks comes in with a really great, helpful suggestion saying, the pedals have knobs on them you can change. That's right. But I think one thing with our rigs, we've gotten to a point where we don't need to change anything. I love that. I can play tellies and my SG and Junior and all sorts of shenanigans through it, and it just sounds... You hear the guitar and all the gain stages and that work with all those guitars. But like seeing Josh use the one we just had, what's it called?
Yeah,
the double...
The Duelist.
The Duelist.
Kingtone.
And it just pulls it out when he brings the Strat out, and it just sounds magic.
Yeah. Frankie Walnut's Art. Hey, Frankie. He says, Mick, I missed last week, but I heard your notes on Buddhism. Check out The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari and Why Buddhism is True. Take one from the chat. Yeah, I'll have a read, Frankie. If we do talk about Buddhism, sometimes it's because it's reflected a lot in the writing of Eckhart Tolle, which Dan and I both enjoy. So I try not to get into any sort of ideology if I can avoid it. So anything that sort of has a name and is a way of doing things, I tend to leave that and move on, because it all points to the same thing. But there's a lot of Buddhist type stuff in Eckhart's. Just a route to thinking, isn't it? It's a route to thinking.
Or a route to not thinking.
There we are. It's a route to peace.
Yeah.
Is what it is.
It's the route to peace.
And Frankie says, guys, what band or guitarist blew you away in your younger days but never made commercial success?
Oh. That's, okay. Let me think about that. Ted Green. Ted Green, just when I heard him, there's a video of Ted Green doing a talk at some music college, and the video, it starts with him just warming up, just sort of And then 15 minutes later, he's played the most astonishing thing, and the whole crowd has sat there going, what was that? And it's just him oh man. So yeah. And he, Tim Lurch was one of his students who we had on the show. And, he had zero commercial success.
Is that right? I never knew that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. For me, one person comes to mind. I'm sure there have been many, and there will have been many, but there's a guy called Dominic Roig, who is a Swiss guitar player, and his nom de plume, as it were, his stage name is Cuthead.
Oh, man.
And just check, if you can find the record called Walkabout, I think it's called, by Cuthead.
Astonishing.
It sits alongside literally anybody
Yep.
you can mention,
Yep.
including Guthrie.
Yep.
It sits alongside those kind of players who just have this music, technique, and tone that comes together. And for someone that virtually nobody has heard of, that record is astonishing.
I emailed him.
Yeah, I remember you saying,
I found a website, and I emailed him, and he says, I forgot I had a website. No one's ever contacted me from it. It's like this old HTML thing.
I'm going to post his name in the comments now. In fact, I'm going to put his... Is that really his? Is that really him?
I think so.
That's him. Okay. I'm going to put the link in the thing now. And there you go. That's the link to Cuthead. And just the most astonishing.
Incredible.
Thing. Anyway, there we are.
His recorded tone as well. It's beautiful. Yeah. I asked him if he'd do lessons. I think he said no. But he might do. That might have changed. But I should reach out to him again because I wanted to get him on the show. Because I was so blown away by that album you played me. I just remember going, who is this? And I just stood...
I wondered if it might be like, I don't know, some unbelievable guitar player that we know, just with a complete under the radar project. But
well, it was like, I remember when Sean Lane, Sean Lane was bless him, he died very young, and he actually did a tour with Andy Timmons, so Andy knew him quite well, and just said, he's a really beautiful guy, he's a proper genius. But there was the Grammys, they had this big after party, and there was the guy from George Lynch was talking to Kirk Hammett. George Lynch from Dokken was talking to Kirk Hammett and said, George Lynch was like, dude, was that you shredding up in the upstairs? Like, that had this band playing at, the party. He goes, no, man, that was Sean Lane. And just legend of him started to grow.
Yeah.
But he was, he said the little video clips of him have come out. And he was something else.
Airfire, Ed.
Hey, Ed.
How are you? He says, Mick, you've mentioned in the past about a wine aerator. What's it like for white wine, considering buying one for my mother-in-law for Christmas, but she only drinks white wine? So, wine people, you know that if you get a decent bottle, you should decant it, right? And decanting does a few things. It partially aerates the wine. It also gets rid of some of the smells that can accumulate in the neck, etc., etc. Anyway, if you've got really nice wine, you should decant it. There's this little thing that you can buy on Jeff's Bazaar for about 10p, which is a plastic thing, and you pour the wine through it and it aerates it. Yeah, we call ours bubbles, obviously, and it aerates it as it goes into the glass. And if you've got, like, I always think it's less important on some New World wines, which are a bit sugarier and a bit fuller, a bit sweeter in the first place, but on some French and Italian bottles, which can be a little bit, as the technical term, as they come out, that can really help, right? So white wine, I don't know about white wine. I'm going to guess that for your Frascatis and maybe your newer Sauvignons and stuff, I'm struggling to see the benefit. But if you drink those really oaked Chardonnays and some of the wine with heavy fruit, I would imagine there's a benefit.
David Tompkins says, I just gargle the wine.
Yeah.
That's great.
Great. So I would imagine, Ed, I don't know if you can get... I mean, it's a giant marketing fail if somebody isn't selling a red wine and a white wine aerator.
Come on.
Like, right?
Yeah, that's brilliant.
Because it might be that the air needs to go through it in a different way. So that's nice, Ed. I like it. Yeah, if they exist, then buy one.
Well, when I had the wine at your house, and Mick gave me a non-aerated one and an aerated one, and I couldn't believe the difference. And so I bought that for loads of friends and family, my 3 friends and family for Christmas, because I just thought it was amazing.
Yeah.
And then ended up drinking too much wine, had to stop drinking wine.
It's good stuff, wine. I'm a fan. Just gargle it, says David Tompkins. Yes. Decant your wine, says Greasy Kitchen, as in Kant, as in the philosopher Kant. Nice.
David Tompkins, can't beat a freshly aerated can of Strongbow. I'll give it a go.
Or some sort of cut price cooking lager. Decanting is just the excuse to drink the entire bottle. Let's be honest, says Sean Eric Brooks. Yeah. No, it does make a difference. Yeah, it does make a difference if a bottle's been sitting around and it just wants some air on it and a tiny bit of temperature as well. It does make a huge difference.
Honeybear says wine is a different kind of drunk. They're all different kinds of drunk. They're all a different kind of experience. But that wine is, yeah, very much so. Red wine and me is just a no. I love it. Like, especially with having a barbecue, you know, some nice meat and a really lovely Malbec. It's just heaven. But I can't have more than, you know, I'll have a glass of that and then go on to something else.
Right.
But yeah, red wine drunk for me is not a pretty thing.
Oh, I can just drink it and keep drinking it.
I know. I mean, it's impressive.
I love it. There you go. What a nice present, Ed.
Ryan Gunwich Black says, I just get a long straw and blow bubbles into the bottle before serving.
I think that would work. I think it would work.
Just go around to all your guests' class and go, excuse me 1 second.
Yeah, I think what you should do is eat a load of onions and garlic before, gargle some TCP, and then do it.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, just like, you know, for that for that medicated flavour. Mike's music. Hello, Mike.
Hello, Mike.
Mike, I saw that you wrote this in the comments over the weekend as well. He says,
Mike's music. He wrote this.
Gents, I recently picked up a Golden Boy from Jackson Audio. The
Nice.
switches don't engage when you step on them, only when you let go and the switch pops up. Mm-hmm. What am I missing?
Okay, so if you think about a modulation pedal, obviously this isn't a modulation pedal, but some modulation pedals, or a delay pedal, for example, that only has one foot switch, where you want to be able to tap the tempo, they will use like a press and hold mode to be able to go through different things and turn on and off. But the releasing on the off, it gives you a couple of extra options, and the Jackson Audio, those pedals that have so many
functions. Yeah, very cleverly designed in stuff. It's disconcerting though, isn't it? I have a pedal that shall be revealed in due course that has such a switch. And it's like, because you'd think, wouldn't you, just put your foot on it, within a quarter of a second, the result is the same. And yet you're like, what?
So one thing it might be is that, depending on how they're doing the switching, if you've got a circuit that requires current to go through the switch when it's open circuit, you can then kill the current when you press it. But if it's not, and you've got to press down on the foot switch to engage it, and then when you release, it turns it off. Yeah. There are reasons. I remember...
Because reasons,
yeah.
Yeah. Obviously, if you have a true bypass loop switcher, which you should all have, this would not be a problem. It is disconcerting, though. But it is just a type of switch, right?
Yeah.
And a type of way that switch is programmed. BV, thank you for reminding us about, is there any housekeeping? I'm not sure there is. Hopefully you will have got the patron giveaway email that went out to patrons last week. The prize being the Beatronics Wannabe. So there's that, which is really cool. And BV is reminding us, what about any breaks over the Christmas period? I think the only day we're not going to be here to live stream is like the 29th or something.
Yeah.
And we'll be around all the rest of the time. So there will hopefully be a video every Friday, we think. So shouldn't be any significant loss in service apart from the 29th. No VCQ because Dan will be sat in his pants watching Bad Santa.
Oh, man. Have you seen Landman? So, what's his name? Billy Bob Thornton, who is Babs. Yeah, it's his new show. It's really good.
Ah, cool. Yes, we talked about it.
Yeah, it's really great.
My mother is getting a new titanium hip, which is good.
It's great.
Made out of actual titanium. Okay. Oh yeah, and there was one other thing. Stuart Reeve is far too busy to watch VCQ, so he emailed in his question instead. Okay, Stuart, this is for you. Thank you for being a patron. He says, I've been diagnosed with arthritis in my shoulder at 52, which is exacerbated when I play an acoustic guitar during having to reach a bit further. But I'm okay playing electric where it sits closer and blah, blah, blah. So have you ever had any long-term injuries and how do you adjust your playing style? Is question number 1. 2, do you have any warm-up exercises that you do before playing to alleviate pain?
So I remember... Sorry, you go.
I was just going to say, before Dan gets into that, because he has, you might be aware, Stuart, that there are a new breed of acoustic guitars that have a rounded off up about. Taylor started it.
Yeah,
actually,
the Taylor one's great.
Taylor didn't start it. It started in the super sniffy boutique market, but this is not an acoustic guitar, I know. But so in the way that the Strat there has the forearm contour, so it is on some more modern acoustic guitars, and it might be that you can get one with a relatively shallow body and the contour, which means it would make sense to go to a shop and try one.
Yeah, they do make a real difference though, because they're not digging into your arm, so that you're not doing this the whole time.
So it's still forward a bit, but the angle is different because the angle is more kind of less acute, as it were, and that design feature has filtered down into slightly more affordable instruments where it used to be only available at kind of got money. Anyway, sorry, as you were, Dan.
I remember going... My friend's band was supporting Status Quo And we got to go, and I was hanging out with the Quo backstage and having a chat to the guys, and they had a yoga instructor with them, and they were before the gig. It was like 15 minutes of proper stretching from the whole band. They took it really seriously. They'd said that was the best feeling, the best they'd felt on tour forever. They could do, 2 hours straight through, and it made all the difference in the world. They brought a chef with them. They were eating properly and they were stretching properly before and after the gig. And I just thought it was amazing. I don't really do stretches, but I do, if we're doing a big gig, I will always stretch out. I mean, shoulders are a thing, especially if you're a tally player.
Yeah.
And because even that, right, you can see here where the forearm rests, and it's not a comfortable thing. It just sits there on that angle, so your shoulder does pop forward a bit.
I know, when I first started playing my DGT, because you've got the lip, the PRS, the dish of the carve that comes up at the edge, I would come out in a huge rash all along there.
I've got like calluses on my forearm, from that.
I was just thinking about, so a friend of mine, Piers, who works for PRS, anyway, he works for PRS, and when he was very young, he grew up in a PRS family because his dad was basically PRS in most of the rest of the world, or at least in most of Europe. Anyway, blah, blah, blah. PRS is a younger man in bands touring and stuff. He would sand his PRSs off across the top for that very reason.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Hello, Piers, if you're watching.
Yeah. But you look at that we were talking about the Dragon guitar before that Jeff Beck gave Jimmy Page, and he's just sanded, like taken the bandsaw or whatever and just cut a massive part of this off, because it does put you in a different thing where your shoulder is. But my body's sort of twisted around this shape.
Yeah.
It does.
I mean, obviously, your arthritis is an additional problem, obviously, and that's not great news. Any continued position playing, even if you don't have any other conditions, is bad news.
Yeah.
If you're in one position, it's bad news. You do need to move around. So it might be that you could work with a physiotherapist, and certainly in maintaining, like Dan said, with yoga and stuff, it's just, once you get to our age, everyone should be doing it.
Yeah.
You should, as long as you're doing it safely and you've talked to an expert. Sports physios are fantastic because they're just not scared.
Yeah.
And they'll help you, be the best version of what you can achieve, and they will know far more about all of this than we ever will. And I just think it's money brilliantly well spent, just maintaining mobility, maintaining joint movement and all of that. Even if you do have conditions like arthritis or other, injury related joint pain, it's just money brilliantly well spent.
Yeah.
Imagine your dad saying that.
I've still got
sorry, Dad,
intercostal injuries between my ribs from the old jiu-jitsu injuries that still niggle, and I still need to get them maintained.
Yeah.
On a 6 monthly basis. But as long as I'm stretching and warming up and cooling down properly, it's fine. And I'm 54, and I'm still rolling every day and playing every day, and it's you can do it.
Yeah.
Broken
Oars podcast says, take up yoga and exercise. Start gently and stick with it. The body does respond.
It does.
Even if you're older. Mick, less of that our age, please. We're older, not dead. No, I mean it literally. Past 50, well, I guess at any age, but I have noticed significant change physically.
Definitely.
In recent years, where you just do have to do the work.
Yeah.
You have to.
And you don't heal the same way that you do when your body's full of testosterone, and, you do feel invincible.
What you saying, Luke?
Yeah. But injuries do take longer, and
yeah.
if you stretch up properly, So this is interesting, and not to get deep into this, but Georgiot says a keto carnivore diet can help a lot too.
Hi, Giorgio.
What's
We saw
interesting
Giorgio
about
on Friday.
yes, Giorgio. What's interesting about that is the anti-inflammatory nature. So you don't have to go all the way to a keto diet, but cutting out things like processed sugar and things like that have cause terrible inflammation. I think so much of what happens in our bodies.
Tomatoes,
the nightshade, terrible. Tasty
for some people.
so tasty.
Yeah.
But things like that inflammatory.
Beware dietary advice from people like me and Dan.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Beware dietary advice from anyone except a nutritionist. But yeah. It's not rocket science, is it?
It's not.
It's not. Being a bit healthier.
Yeah, just don't eat anything tasty.
Yeah.
There you go. Cut out all flavour from your life.
It was like Matt Berry, who's this Friday's show, he was saying when he was talking to doctor, and they were saying you just can't eat that stuff anymore.
Yeah.
You just can't eat that. You can't. It's like no. Good. Anyway, before we get too much further down that road, Kristen Abbott. Hello, Kristen.
Hi, Kristen.
Good to see you. Kristen was at the experience day before that. He says, Mick, when you changed the humbucker in the Silver Sky, how about putting a JB in? Love you guys. I did think about it.
I love a JB humbucker.
I do like this. I always like the sound of a JB humbucker, but I'll give you, seeing as it's not the whole audience, I'll give you a little teaser of.
Yes, Sean Eric Brooks. It is Matt Berry, the British actor. Matt Berry. Absolute 80s.
You're listening to Absolute 90s. So we did the 250 pound pedalboard challenge, and as part of that, I modified this guitar to have this humbucker and this pickguard, and these
cool.
and these knobs and these pickups. And what I discovered was the humbucker was both reverse polarity, stroke phase, and it was dreadfully microphonic, so it needed fixing. So get this. I took the magnet out, turned it over.
Start the first time.
Yeah. And significantly improved the microphonics. And the story of that is in the 500 pound pedalboard challenge. There's no feeling like it. Like, disassemble a pickup.
Oh, yeah.
Put it back together.
And it works.
And it works. I was like...
It's a 50-50 shot.
Yeah,
at that.
yeah.
Yeah, no, well done, mate.
Anyway, don't play anything like that. I tell you what is annoying me about this guitar, and I'll share this with the group.
Yes, I can hear you, Clan Fandango. You donut.
What's his first name? Toast.
Stephen Toast.
Stephen. Hi, Stephen. Can you hear me? It's Clan Fandango.
It's Clan Fandango here, Stephen. Can you hear me? Yes, I can hear you, Clan Fandango. Oh, man.
There's just one word on this script.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Release the nuclear weapons. Can you say it in a less alarming way? I've just unleashed Armageddon.
What's annoying me about this trem system is when you put the arm in, the arm is feels like it's not very high tensile steel.
Right.
So the arm has got a bit of flex.
Oh.
Right. And then the problem with that is...
Okay. So you see, it's mixed bending.
So
the
it's
strings
bending
here.
down.
Yeah.
And so
And that.
I want to make it... And it,
Yeah. And it doesn't... Little fellow in here, and this one, there's no one home.
So to get some nice action on the...
Staying in tune, though.
On the wang bar... Yeah, it works great, but it's just too much flaming bendy before there's any bendy.
Yep.
And then when I do this, everything's out of tune. So
now, I was watching a video of Wes Montgomery today, just seeing you with your thumb there, and he's got obviously the big arch top.
And he could do like...
But he's alternate picking with his thumb.
Yeah.
He's doing this. He's going... And he's like... You see him watching, he's going, oh, this is great.
Yeah.
It's the joy in his face when he's playing. But I always thought that he would be, but no, his fingers are planted here. And he's like...
There's
and it's just
bits and bobs of Wes on video. Watch it. It is properly mad. Wes Montgomery.
Yeah, incredible.
You inspired me with the thumb, actually, Daniel, because when Daniel plays the bass, he uses his thumb.
Yep.
I tend to use my fingers, right?
Right.
And we do a Pretenders song, which isn't Don't Get Me Wrong. It is the other one. Actually, that is... It's the other one. What's the other one? Brass in Pocket.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the name. There it is.
Right. And it's the weirdest groove, because it's... But I can't get it right with the fingers. I have to use the thumb.
Yeah.
And the groove is right with the thumb. And not with the fingers. F sharp.
Yeah, sharp.
D. It's the weirdest groove, man. Thumb, good. Fingers, not so good.
Is that Robbie?
Yeah, I think so. That was an interesting tangent. Sounds simple, doesn't it? When you hear something like that, you think that's simple, and then you try and play it. It's so hard.
Yeah.
So there we are, Kristen. The pickup has been actually slight lie. Just in case I asked it up, I did it on the neck because I put the bridge pickup from the 335 in the guitar, so I had the neck one kind of go in spare. I thought I'll do it on that one, and actually it's worked out better. It's a better balance for the single coils, so it's a little bit less hot. So anyway, Simon VRDJ. Simon, how are you?
Sorry. G Barge says, he says, isn't it funny how you don't risk a copyright strike from playing bass?
It's so right.
It's that song. Yeah. You're out.
Yeah, I have remarked a couple of things which I won't remark here, but it is true. Nobody gives a shit about the bass player. I'm experiencing this firsthand. It's really interesting. Greasy Kitchen says, place all the fingers on the correct string.
G major neutral.
G major neutral.
Brass in Pocket is James Honeymoon Scott. Chris Quinn says, yeah.
Thank you, Chris.
Oh, man.
Don't Get Me Wrong must be Robbie then, is it?
Yes, because he played that riff on Anderson's, which I was very upset about. Should have played it here.
Simon VRDJ. Hello, Simon.
Hey, mate.
He says, chaps, if you could travel to one country for a Christmas break, perhaps even play a gig, where would it be and why? Ho, 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 Merry Christmas, says Simon. This is the kind of Christmas chat I can get into, Simon. And Dan's got an interesting perspective on this because of his hemispheric origins.
Oh, okay. I mean, probably Japan. Because Japanese Christmas is just amazing. Completely over the top. And also, I just love Japanese audiences. They're so wonderful. Or go to Dubai where there's just no Christmas.
I could get on board with that. Because obviously, growing up in Australia, Dan's experience of Christmas is summer,
Of course.
right? And that, to people here in Europe, is bonkers.
Well, summer was always the beach and seafood and,
Yeah.
you know,
And
long evening and...
but so in the sort of general contemporary imagery around Christmas, is Santa in a big red suit on snow?
Santa's on a jet ski, my friend.
Yes.
That's the way he's meant to arrive at your house.
But
Jet ski, coming up the...
when somebody sends you a Christmas card in Australia, is it elves in the snow and Santa in the
Oh,
snow?
it's still... All
Or
the
is it-
iconography is the same.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, completely.
But
yeah,
it's
yeah.
like
But
42
the thing is,
degrees
so
outside.
What was amazing, like growing up in Australia, and it's, you know, it's either hot or bloody hot, and you still have all of the, you know, there's the classic British, you know, hedgerow imagery and the, you know, the London and all that stuff, and Santa down chimneys, and you know, and you get here. What I never forget about getting to the UK first time is all those childhood images suddenly made sense.
Right.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
Seeing a hedgerow for the first time, it was like,
Oh, wow.
you know, seeing Big Ben and chimneys and all the chimney pots all together that you know, step in time, all that nonsense.
Mary Poppins, step in time. So what, like, do you have robins in Australia? The bird?
We
Robin
have
redbreast?
finches. I don't know. We probably do, but
I'm just thinking about, like, here, traditional Christmas things that you see. Because I'm still blown away by this cultural difference, that it means something different. Well, obviously,
So
ultimately, if you're a Christian,
yeah.
it means the same thing. But
commercially it's the same thing.
Right.
Like loads of presents but you know, it's still the same thing. All family gets together and
Yeah.
you know, and you visit both parents' house.
yeah, it's the same.
Same.
You know, you get in
It's
the
the
car
same.
on Christmas Eve, and then by Boxing Day, you've got round to see everyone in your blended family.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, but so that's all the same.
Okay, good. So Dan will go to Japan. I would at least like to experience the Nordic thing once before I die, like being in a log cabin
Yep.
in somewhere north,
Yep.
like
Seeing
Sweden or Norway.
the Aurora Borealis and all
All
that
that
stuff. Yeah.
snow, alcohol, fire, meat. That would do it for me.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know,
I think that would be amazing.
at least 2 or 3 people that you like. That would be good. I would enjoy that.
Yep.
Log cabin kind of thing.
Yeah, that would be beautiful.
Yeah. There we are. Okay, good. Thank you, Simon.
We had thought when the kids were little, you could buy these things to go to Lapland, where the kids they get to the airport, and then you'd have a sleigh with reindeer take you to Santa's cabin, where the kids would meet Santa. Right?
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, that would be an amazing thing. It was like 10 grand. It's like, no. But they do this thing. They do this thing where you send Santa all the information on the kids and their friends and stuff, and Santa talks to them about what their friends are doing for Christmas. And so the kids, like, it's a magical thing for the kids. But there was a UK thing that we did that with Liv when she was little, right? And she had a book. Santa gave her a book with her and her friends, and they were all the friends' names. She was just so blown away. But then when she found out that Santa wasn't real, it was the most traumatic experience.
Yeah.
You know?
I've always been interested by the lie.
Yeah.
It's just,
But while it's real for them, it is a magical thing.
yeah.
It's really beautiful.
I've often wondered if it's why so many of us as young adults were so messed up, because you first realise that, you know, at various stages through school, finding out about Santa, the birds and the bees, some other stuff. As you discover all that stuff, you realise that it's all lies. You've just been lied to since you popped out, right?
Scott Ackham says, not real.
And that's why so many of us spent so long in bloody therapy.
Yeah.
Because we're like, you bastards,
Yeah.
you've totally lied to me this whole time.
Yeah. Well, the way that I found out Santa wasn't real was my big brother.
Yeah.
And
Like so many
He
of us
was
with
like-
big brothers.
I was saying to him, because I only got to see my brother like every second weekend, and I must have been 10 or maybe not that old. He would have been 14. He was, older and cooler, and I'm like, are you excited to see Santa? And he goes, don't be an idiot, Dan. Santa's not real. And I'm like, but he brings the presents. He goes, Mum and Dad buy you the presents, you idiot. So that's how I found out Santa wasn't real.
Yeah, I think mine was somewhat similar.
Yep.
Electricity Music, Steve says, did Dan ever get a bike from Santa in Australia? If not, what did you call him? What was his
very
name?
good.
Stephen bloody... The guy who sang that song with the bad words?
Kevin Bloody Wilson.
Kevin Bloody Wilson, yeah. Thank you, Steve. Gives me a laugh every time. Magic lives in the child's mind, says Jeremy Donovan. Yeah.
Until it doesn't.
Until it doesn't, yeah.
So
Right up until he paid the first therapist bill.
Teen was in our old house, like, how a young Liv was. And Teen had gone to pick her up from dancing or something. Teen comes in the door. She goes, you're going to have to go and talk to your daughter.
Yeah.
I'm like, what happened? On the way home, no, she said Liv was having an argument with her friends at school. And her friends are saying, Santa isn't real. And Liv's going, yes, he is. I've seen him. and then they're on the way back from the wherever it was, and Liv says to Teen, Santa's real, isn't he, Mum? And Teen goes, well, you won't. What'd she say? You only receive if you believe. And Liv goes, that's not an answer. Is Santa real? And then by the time she got home, she was devastated. She wouldn't get out of the car, so I had to go. So I got her out of the car. Oh, man. That was funny.
Excellent. Hopefully there's no kids watching this. Hugh Buchan. Hey, Hugh, how are you? Hugh is also someone that's joined us on an experience day. He says,
lovely.
D&M, hope is well. Just a little love for all the help over the years and the recent help getting me sorted with my first real amp. I got the Morgan. Planning to add a Mesa, California. TPS wet dry coming in 2026.
Oh,
Yes, you are, Hugh.
that's fantastic. That I can hear that. That'll sound amazing.
Good on you, man. Good
Yeah,
on
well
you. And
done.
good. Have fun playing it too. That's what it's all about, isn't it? Sorry, that's just. I've had a flashback. I was watching a Christmas Top of the Pops compilation yesterday, while waiting for something else to happen, and there were these snowmen doing the Okie Kokie, the snowmen.
Right.
It's dark. It's really dark. Sorry, I was saying that's what it's all about, right? The popular song, the Okie Kokie. What is it? Probably
fabulous.
pagan or something. Is it the Okie Kokie?
Oh, I don't know. Probably.
Anyway, Chris Gibbs. Chris has also been on at least one experience day. How are you, Chris? He says, greetings, legends. I took the plunge on a new amp, a 45 watt Black Cat Hot Cat. Gigged it Saturday and it sounded great. Good on you, man.
Oh, fantastic.
Chris
mate.
was
Well
in
done.
here and we were talking about amps and stuff. And I was like, you know what you need, Chris? It's a Marshall. So we dragged in the 50 watt Plexi and put it on the 412 and just had at it as a sort of slightly more, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Chris, you were sort of feeling that some of your overdrives were getting a bit squashy and lost. And I was like, no, what you need is an honest guitar sound. And there's nothing like a Marshall, not exactly patent pending, but on the way to that, to have the honest guitar sound, which sounds mental, but in a band with a spirited drummer, it's the sound,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah.
It's the bloody
completely.
sound. It
Yeah.
just,
And it's a sound that you can work with because there's so much dynamics in there. And it's a sound also that a really great drummer can work with because he can lift and you can go with him You know, so funny, man. Someone sent me this video, band sound checking, drums start up, bass starts up, guitar starts up, but it doesn't. You just can't hear it. And there's this, the drummer was really good, but it's like, come on, can we get back to reality, please? Can we get back to some sounds that work on stage, and you can stop apologizing for it.
Yeah.
Man, I'll tell you what, some of the guitar sounds at Radiohead, you would have loved it. It was really, really magic.
Well, you
And
would hope
they
so.
were in fine fettle.
You would hope so. You would hope so. Oh, that's nice.
It's a lovely chord, isn't it?
That's a very Robbie McIntosh chord, actually.
Oh, is it?
Have you ever heard his fingerstyle acoustic record?
No. Oh, yeah, okay. I'll have a listen.
I
I have seen him play an acoustic gig in London, and it was just wonderful.
He was friends with a guy named Marcel Dardy, who unfortunately died in a helicopter crash, I think. And he was friends with Marcel and Manuel Marcel. My apologies. Dardy was his surname anyway. And he recorded on his record, I think it was Turn Up for the Books, maybe, or it might have been Emotional Bends. I think it was Emotional Bends. The last track is this unbelievable fingerstyle acoustic piece called Dardy, D-A-D-I, I think his name was. And it's an astonishing bit of guitar playing.
Yeah.
Let me just make sure I haven't misquoted the poor bugger's name. Marcel Dardy. Marcel as in M-A-R-C-E-L and D-A-D-I, Dardy, yeah. Tunisian French. Yeah. How do we get onto that? Right. Digger 68 says, howdy legends. I'm working on a stereo board. I want to incorporate some wet dry ability in the signal chain. Any advice on where to put what effects and any fun combinations I may want to try? I appreciate all the years of inspiration.
Oh, cheers, mate.
This is hard work if you don't have a pedal board switcher, or more to the point, if you don't have a Gig Rig G3.
It certainly makes it easier. So, right. Here's some fun things to try then. Modulation after everything, after delay, on on one side or the other. Having gain stages and then reverbs and delays and then stereo modulation at the end is really fun.
But in order to do it, you have to have true stereo.
Yeah.
And
You
preferably analog drive-through.
Yes.
In order that whatever you've got on both sides of the stereo field remain.
Yeah. If you're going through a stereo digital pedal that has the same amount of latency on both sides, then it's fine. Because it's the same latency, so everything stays in relative phase. But if you're doing the stereo combined with wet dry, I love it. I absolutely love it. So one thing to do, like at the end of your stereo chain, try a phaser or a flanger or a chorus right at the end, especially harmonic tremolo at the end of everything on one side. Unreal. A mono rotary speaker on one side, on the wet side, after everything. So when we do the experience days, we both set up rigs, and Nick has his rig set up, and he's got that. He's got the Hughes and Kettner Rotosphere going into one amp at the end of everything. And what's amazing is that you can have quite a dense mix, and it sounds great. But with the Rotosphere at the end, all that mix is getting spun, but it's not getting spun and then delayed. And honestly, what a great sound. And the last experience day that we had before this one, I had a gentleman here and hit a flanger right at the very end of his pedal board. I was like, okay. And because I'd had it, right at the front, and I'd had it after gain stages, but I'd never thought to put it right at the end. Oh man, it was magic. It's like, yep, every day's a school day. So yeah, the fun thing about stereo and wet dry is if you've got true stereo signal path, you can pop mono pedals anywhere in there as long as they've got an analog drive through and it doesn't elongate the latency on one side. Yeah, and just mess around with it and have fun.
Happy days.
New t-shirts in.
Oh yeah, we call this Tone Busters.
No, that's Devo.
Last in tonight, Scotty K. Hey Scotty, he says, hello, firstly I love everything you've created, community, content, it's inspiring. Looking for my first investment amp. Cali Tweed specifically, but in general, what are the real world pros and cons of head versus combo? Thank you. So,
one thing with the head versus combo, generally in heads you won't have the reverb unless you've got a 2-rock. Well, it will have reverb. The combos are interesting because
Cali Tweeds do as well. Most boogies will.
In the heads?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. So the interesting thing with the head and the speaker being in the same cabinet, the vibration of the speaker is more connected with all the electronics and the valves and everything. It does make a difference. If the head is separate, then it's still coupled, but in a different way. Yeah, I think there's an argument to say that if you're playing at loud volumes, then a head into a cab, it might last a little bit longer.
I don't know. I used combos all my early gig in life. Twins, boogies, and never had any problems.
No, if they're good, but they're good amps. It's not going to be a.
But you're right, and if you, I think it's more. I think it's simpler than that in terms of one of the reasons I love heads and cabs is because you can change the cab. 2, neither item, although there's 2 boxes, neither is as heavy.
Yeah, that's true.
So you can save a bit of, a 212 tube combo, if it's a Mesa, for example, is a brutally heavy thing.
Yep.
Which you don't worry about when you're 25, but God, I was moving the Lone Star around the other day. I was like, Jesus, I'm so pleased I don't have to carry this around too much anymore.
Head, cab, balanced, shoulders back.
Yeah. Ugh. So that is a benefit, I would say. But then opposite to that, if you go for a smaller combo like a Cali Tweed or a Princeton or whatever, then it's no big deal really. And of course the whole thing is more compact. So it's space saving to have it in a combo. I don't know if anyone else has got any thoughts in the comments. And also some amps just should be combos. Like AC30 should be combos.
Yeah.
AC15 should be combos. Deluxe Reverb should be combos. Basements should be combos. So
yep.
There's that. I don't know about tonally, but just in so it doesn't mess with your brain too much. I took my 2-rock TS1 out of a 112 combo format and put it in a head with a separate cab because I prefer the sound of the big cab.
Well, your dual 2-rock shenanigans, it's such a mighty, mighty thing.
It's better with the 212s.
Definitely. The way they just couple together so perfectly. But I loved the 1x12. I thought that sounded fantastic.
Yeah.
And I was like, I didn't know how it was going to sound with the 2x12, and I just like, oh yeah, they just balance together so beautifully.
Yeah, and I think that again that depends what you've grown up. If you've grown up on things like you know, Tweed Deluxes and AC15s and whatever, then that sound of that 1x12 combo will be imprinted in you. I grew up with 212s.
Yeah,
I
right.
always played, well, for a long time played amps with 212s, and there's just something about that 212 sound that is in there.
Yeah.
Anyway, blah, blah, blah. Good luck. Good luck with your first proper, I don't say proper, but serious, expensive amp. It's a good day when it happens. Molly Microbe says, hot take, Messer Mark series should be combos as well. Yeah, I kind of agree with you.
Mhm.
I kind of agree with you. I have had a couple of Mark III heads over the years. Behemoth sounding things on big cabs. Anyway. Good. All right, thanks everyone for being with us. Yeah, Friday is Matt Berry. Absolute 90s.
Absolute 90s.
And of course, Money Supermarket. But more interestingly, the 11 studio records he's made. Yeah, thanks for being with us, everyone. We'll see you Friday with Matt and more cobblers on Monday next week in very complicated questions.
Beautiful.
You going to play us out, Daniel?
I'll play something. Let's do something for everyone stuck in Copenhagen tonight.
Oh, yeah. In D minor, if you don't mind. Thank you, BV.